Hello. Oh, hello. 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 Hello to you. Hello to you. Hello, little sparrow. Hello, little dinosaur. Nice to see you. How are you all today? Are you all okay? Are you? Every single one of you. That is brilliant. That is so brilliant. Now, again, I haven't been told it's anyone's birthday, but it must be someone's birthday out there. So this one goes out to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you out there, but only you know who you are, and maybe some of your family members as well. Happy birthday to you. Well, everyone, thank you very much for all those suggestions, those 6-word suggestions that you came in for. Let me start again. Thank you for the 6-word suggestions that you gave to me for the continuing story. And I've been stringing this together, and it's actually pretty good. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's still pretty good. And I'm going to be trying to read that out to you on Thursday. I say trying to, I mean I shall do it without any effort whatsoever. I've maybe added just a little bit at the end to round the whole thing up. Anyway, my friends, I think it's time for a story, because it's that time. So have you got your cup of tea ready? Have you got your bowl of spaghetti ready? Good, because now we're going to find out what's in the box. But first, so my friends, are you ready? Are you steady? And of course, are you a bright pink teddy? You are. Oh, you are today. Oh, you are. I like what you're wearing, by the way. That's excellent. Where did you get that? Yeah, really? From where? Wow, I really like that. Okay, what's in the box? I wonder. Here we go. I love this bit. My favourite bit of the day. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. A brush. A bristle brush. Poor thing. This is what Havisham Hare called Mr. Hedgehog. Yeah, bristle brush. What an insult. Do you know Havisham Hare? Have you met Havisham Hare? He's horrible. He's so stuck up. Yeah. He insists on people calling him Lord Havisham Hare. Not just Havisham Hare or Mr. Hare, but Lord Havisham Hare. He's one of those sorts of people who think they're better than you. And you, and you. Yeah. One of those sorts of people who are a little bit stuck up. One of those sorts of people who, just because they went to a good school, a posh school, or just because they've got a bit more money than you, or just because they can trace their ancestors back to King Nibble Nobble of Grimshaw, they think they are superior. And that was just like Lord Havisham Hare. Yeah. He wasn't a lord. No. I mean, who ever heard of a rabbit being a lord? And let's face it, a hare is just a rabbit with big ears, isn't it? Yeah, he wasn't a lord. And what do rabbits need with treasure or riches or gold even? Although, come to think of it, gold is still measured in carats, so I guess you could have a rich rabbit of sorts. But yeah, he was full of airs and graces, or hairs and graces. He thought he was so much better than everyone else. Yeah, he was one of those sorts of people who would never say hello to anyone, would only speak to others if they spoke to him first, and he paid no interest to anyone whatsoever. He would just look down at people down his long nose like this. He called everyone riff-raff. And he never bothered understanding people or listening to people. He never bothered even learning people's names. He actually thought all animals looked alike. Well, I don't mean he thought that tigers looked like jellyfish or baboons looked like kangaroos or sparrows looked like giraffes or anything like that. No, I mean he just thought all the badgers looked the same and all the pigs looked the same and all the hedgehogs looked the same. And therefore he would give them slightly rude nicknames. Humbug, he would call all the badgers just because they were black and white striped. Humbug. Or he would call the pigs Stinky Sty. Yeah, Stinky Sty. What a horrible name. And he would call all the hedgehogs Bristlebrush. Oh, it used to make the animals really, really angry. And it really used to upset Mr. Hedgehog if his wife, Mrs. Hedgehog, ever came home from shopping one day and said that Mr. Havisham Hare, or Lord Havisham Hare, I should say, called her a bristlebrush as well. That would make Mr. Hedgehog mad. He would get furious. And if you've ever seen a furious hedgehog, it is very scary. It's like a terrifying pufferfish. And to tell you the truth, Havisham Hare didn't realise that there was a Mr. Hedgehog and a Mrs. Hedgehog. He thought that they were the same person because he'd never actually seen them together, because he thought all hedgehogs looked alike. Anyway, one day, Mr. Hedgehog was going out for his early morning walk along the country lanes. Yumpty dumpty 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 dum, yumpty dumpty dump. The sun was shining brightly. Dumpty 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 dum, and the birds were singing sweetly. Tweet 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 tweet. He was having a lovely time. It felt perfect just walking along like this. But coming along towards him, doing 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 doing, was Lord Havisham Hare. Thought Mr. Hedgehog. Here we go again. Doing, 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 doing. Hello, Mr. Hare, said Mr. Hedgehog. Havisham Hare screeched to a halt. What did you say? Morning, Mr. Hare. What did you say? Morning, Lord Havisham. That's better. That's better. You must remember your place in society, riff-raff. Bristlebrush. Short legs. This was the final straw. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. Short legs. Short legs. He called Mr. Hedgehog short legs. Now, if there's one thing which upsets a hedgehog, it's being called short legs. They are very, very sensitive about their cute little legs. Yes, their legs are quite short, but yes, their legs are perfectly adapted to doing very hedgehoggy kind of things. And they are a little bit bandy. And being teased for having bandy legs is quite hard to bear. Yeah, I should know. I used to have quite bandy legs myself. They used to call me Bandy Andy. And do you know what? If I lived about 3 miles down the road, I'd be called Bandy Andy from Sandy. But luckily I live in Potton, so that doesn't apply to me. But poor little Mr. Hedgehog, he was furious about this. And like I said, a furious hedgehog is like a terrifying pufferfish. Bristles spiking out all over the place. What did you call me? Said Havisham Hare. I called you short legs. I think it's so funny because you've got short legs. I may have short legs, but what's wrong with that? Said Mr. Hedgehog, furious. He was bright red by now. Steaming pufferfish. What's wrong with my short legs? Well, for instance, you can't leap over things like me. I'm always leaping over things like this. La-di-da-di-da. You can't, oh yes, you can't do lunges. Have you ever tried to do a lunge with short legs? You can't do lunges, and you can't do yoga. I can do yoga. You can't do yoga. You can't do sweet moves on the dance floor like me. Tumty, 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 tum. And you can't run fast. Ha! That's what's wrong with short legs. Who says I can't run fast? Said the angry Mr. Hedgehog. Who says I can't run fast? I can run as fast as... Yes, I'm listening. I can run as fast as... Yes, I'm all ears. All ears. I can run as fast as you. Oh, what? Oh, honestly. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Oh, how droll. Oh, you are amusing. Oh, my goodness me. You're scintillating with your humour. Oh, you're so funny. You can run as fast as moi. Yes, I can run as fast as you, and I'm going to prove it. I'll race you tomorrow in the turnip field at 10 o'clock. Oh, you are so funny, said Lord Havisham Hare. Race me? Yes, 10 o'clock tomorrow, turnip field. And if I win, said Mr. Hedgehog, which won't happen at all. If I win, oh come now, you know that won't happen. If I win, you've got to stop insulting me and all of my friends. Capiche? Oh, yes. Oh, I can't wait. I'll see you tomorrow then. Short legs. And Havisham Hare went bounding off with a big smile on his face. Doing, 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 doing. And it's hard to doing and bounce and bounce and doing when you're laughing and giggling away. On the other hand, Mr. Hedgehog stomped home on his slightly short legs. Stomped home like this. Furious. But by the time he got home, his fury had actually turned into happiness. He was quite amused with himself. Yeah, he had an idea. Bing! When he got into the house, he went straight to see his wife, Mrs. Hedgehog. Mrs. Hedgehog, Mrs. Hedgehog, I've just had a brilliant idea and I need your help with this. Oh, yes, said Mrs. Hedgehog. Certainly, of course I'll help you. She was very, very supportive, was Mrs. Hedgehog. She would always help her husband, always, no matter how eccentric his plans. They were very much in love, in spite of their slightly formal name-calling. Mr. Hedgehog, I'll do anything for you. What can I do for you? Well, Mrs. Hedgehog, I've got a brilliant idea. You see, I've just challenged Mr. Hare, Lord Havisham Hare, him. I've challenged him to a race. Oh, my dear, said Mrs. Hedgehog. What on earth have you done? Why have you challenged him to a race? He'll easily beat you. Oh, I know that, said Mr. Hedgehog. I know he's very fast, but he's so arrogant, and he's not very bright. Listen, I've got this plan. I've challenged him to a race in the turnip field, and I'm going to wait at one end, and I'll start off the race with him. But I want you to be at the other end of the field and pretend you've just won when he catches up. Well, that sounds like a very good plan, Mr. Hedgehog, but it's got a few flaws, a few problems, a few sticking points. I know, and that's what's so brilliant. Us hedgehogs are covered in sticking points, aren't we? Look, don't worry at all. It'll go fine. But okay, darling, said Mrs. Hedgehog. There are 3 things I want to clear. First of all, I'm sure that when you start the race with Havisham Hare, he'll see you. You'll be next to him. He'll realise you're not running. Ah, well, I thought of that. And I have to say, he's so arrogant, I bet the moment we start the race, he's just going to run forward like this without even looking either side of him. But if he does, the turnip field has just recently been ploughed. Yeah. And it's got furrows running along the length of it. If he has a furrow and I have a furrow, then he'll never see me. Well, that's true, said Mrs. Hedgehog, but when he gets to the other end, won't he recognise that I'm not you? Ah, well, no, this is the brilliance of the plan. He's so arrogant, he doesn't know anyone from anyone. He thinks all badgers look the same, he thinks all pigs look the same, and he thinks all hedgehogs looks the same. And I'll tell you something, he's never seen the two of us stand next to each other. No, he thinks we're one and the same. Well, that is true, said Mrs. Hedgehog, warming to the whole idea. But, won't he recognise my voice as being different from you? Ah, well, this is the only problem I can see, said Mr. Hedgehog. So we need to correct that. I'd like you, please, Mrs. Hedgehog, to practice your Mr. Hedgehog voice. Oh, all right. And as you can see, they aren't that much different, are they? So all evening, Mrs. Hedgehog practiced a Mr. Hedgehog voice, which was quite easy for her. And if anyone came along at that night time and listened outside the house, they are sure they would have heard Mr. Hedgehog talking to himself. Anyway, the day of the race, the following day. Da da da! Mr. Hedgehog turned up at the turnip field quite early, along with his wife. He had thrown on a scruffy pair of jogging bottoms, and his wife had an identical pair of scruffy jogging bottoms. They quite often bought his and her clothing. He had also made a very neat cardboard sign saying "Start" on it. He was very proud of that. It had only taken him 3 hours while his wife was practicing her Mr. Hedgehog voice. Mr. Hedgehog and his start sign waited at one end of the turnip field, while Mrs. Hedgehog trotted along to the other end of the turnip field and waited behind a lump of earth, which is actually called a clod. She hid behind that clod and she waited. 10 o'clock came along, and along jogged Mr. Hare, Lord Havisham Hare, in his electric blue lycra aerodynamic leggings, personalised, with HH written on them, and his bright white trainers, again personalised, HH, and his sun visor, HH, and his sweatbands, HH, and his bag of high intensity glucose drinks. They've got so many electrolytes in them as well. Anyway, he was there and Mr. Hedgehog were there on the starting line. Right, said Mr. Hedgehog, I think we better run along these furrows. Are you sure? Said Havisham Hare. Yes, I've seen Orlando Owl about, and he's looking very, very hungry at the moment, so I think it's better we stay out of sight. Oh, really? Orlando Owl? Ooh, said Havisham Hare. Orlando Owl was the only animal he could name. He was actually scared of Orlando Owl. I mean, think about it. Out of a fur-covered rabbit with long ears, or a spiky-covered hedgehog, it's a no-brainer who Orlando Owl would eat first. Yes, I think you're quite right, Mr. Hedgehog. I'll run along this furrow, you run along that one. Very good. Okay, said Mr. Hedgehog. Ready, steady, go. Havisham Hare sped off down his furrow without looking either side. He was fixed on the very end of the field. Mr. Hedgehog took a couple of steps, then yawned and thought, yeah, that'll do. That's enough. Mrs. Hedgehog, behind her clod of earth at the other end of the turnip field, she waited for about a minute, and then she stepped out just as Havisham Hare was approaching, and she crossed the finish line. Whoa! No! What? What? How? How? His eyes doinged out of his head. Boing, 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 boing. How did you do that? It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm much faster. How did you do that? Well, these legs, said Mrs. Hedgehog in her best Mr. Hedgehog voice. These legs of mine, they might be short, but they ain't half hard. Ain't half hard. Ain't half fast. But I'm the fastest animal around. It's not fair. Do you want another race then? Said Mrs. Hedgehog, again in her best Mr. Hedgehog voice. Yes, I do. On your marks, get set, doing, doing, doing. He ran off without her even saying go. What a cheat! And he ran even faster than before, doing, 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 right to the other end of the field, where of course there was Mr. Hedgehog. What? No! How did you do that? What? No! How? How? I am faster than you. I know I'm faster than you. How did you beat me? It's not fair. Well, I tell you, these legs, they're made for running. Mr. Hare. Lord, I'm a Lord Hare. Call me Lord Havisham Hare. Oh, honestly, it's not fair. Well, I'll give you another race if you want. Yes, I do. And he just ran off, doing, 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 without even the ready, steady, go bit. What a cheat. Anyway, he did this 74 times. 74 times. Run. Hedgehog, run. Hedgehog, run. Hedgehog, run. Hedgehog, run. Hedgehog, run. Hedgehog, no. 74 times. Okay. Okay. I give up. I give up. I need a drink of my high energy glucose drink with lots of electrolytes in it. Okay, I admit it. You're so much faster than I am. I shall never, ever call you a bad name ever again. And so from that day on, Havisham Hare made every effort he could to learn people's names, and he never insulted them, and he never made up names like Humbug or Stinky Sty or Bristlebrush ever again. And a couple of weeks later, Mr. and Mrs. Hedgehog held a party. And they were so nice and so decent that actually they invited Havisham Hare along. And when Havisham Hare saw Mr. Hedgehog stand next to Mrs. Hedgehog, he went bright red in the face. Bright red, yeah. But whether or not he realised what had happened, no one ever knew. Because who would ever admit to making such an epic mistake? Well, my friends, that is the end of today's story. Thank you very much. Oh, did you see that? Now, who would ever admit to making such an epic mistake as that? What a clanger. But if you've enjoyed this story and you'd like to listen to more, they're all available on Facebook, so please look at the past repertoire. I've got many more to do. It'd be interesting to know, by the way, if you're going to take a break from listening in, because I might be taking a break in over Easter. I just want your opinion on that, or I don't mind keeping on going. And if you want to listen to more stories as well, with the marvellous music of Martin Thornton, please look at our website, and you can purchase audiobooks with music at £3 a story. Thank you so much. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and stay healthy. TTFN. Bye!